Now that's how you do it, guards! Yeah! That's how you do it. You get almost 150,000 people down there, or whatever it was, 140 or whatever amount of people are down there. It's packed. You're hitting home runs. Having overcome some bad starts, but that's all right. We'll discuss that coming up. And you sweep it on out at home. You are the best home team in baseball, and you played like it over this past weekend. The bats are hot, this team is hot, and they do not quit, and they find ways to win games. You know, you could take a week off and still be in the lead in the AL Central. Guardians playing well, and if anything, man, it just turns my attention even more to what they're going to do with the trade deadline. There's an excitement that I have for that. Now, you go to Baltimore to take on the Orioles, who have lost 3 straight. God, I wish that was a weekend series, and I kind of wish it was at home. But you're at Camden Yards starting tonight. You got Bybee on the hill, and we're going to get after it yet again. This team continues to push and continues to show us and the front office we are for real. That we are going to be a team that is competing not only for the playoffs, but is it time to start thinking World Series? But there's still a move to be made. There's still something that they can do to improve this team even more. We'll head over to ESPN this morning as well. They have their mid-season awards. Love for the MVP? Hot bat Stephen Kwan, where is he on that list? So we'll get to that coming up. Cavs, I might be the next head coach of the Cavaliers. I don't know. The fact that it's gone this long, we still have Terry Peluto's reporting, Atkinson picking up steam. They're introducing J.J. Redick today out there in L.A. We've got some Cavs things to get to, including a brand new mock draft with yet another player that I don't know what I like for the Cavs at 20. But we'll get to that. A little bit of football to sprinkle in, including an update on a stadium for another team. We don't talk a lot about the stadium. We're in a holding pattern right now. Doesn't mean you don't look around the rest of the NFL, see what's going on with other people's stadiums, and yet another one that public money is going towards. We'll get to our bracket. We got the grid this week. We got to get it again this week. Not going to have a full week next week with the holidays, so we got to get the grid in. Try to get another giveaway for the listeners and the fans out there if we can be immaculate. Once again, we'll get to a busy time hop today, and we'll run through the morning update as we always do on a beautiful Monday right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. I'm glad you survived Put-in-Bay. You guys went to Put-in-Bay during a heat dome. It was 95 degrees, and you went around on Put-in-Bay. You survived. You're here. Yes. Did you survive? Did you really survive?
I survived. It was a very, very fun, very, very long, very, very eventful 4 days there.
Some of those might not ever get to the air, but I'm glad you made it through. So, like, it was you and your buddies, right? Oh, God, I can't even imagine what it was like. Yeah. And I saw some pictures of people. They didn't get out of the, like, could you even get into pools up there, or was every single person that was at a swim-up bar in the pool?
It was pretty gross. I'm not going to lie.
You don't even want to think about it. Don't think about what people are doing in there. Not good hygiene.
I wasn't going to go in drinks. I wasn't going to go in it, but then all my friends did.
No, you have to. I mean, there's no point. Get out and just make sure you take a shower. Yeah. Just make sure you take a shower. You're probably better off getting in the lake. But I know there was a lake advisory this weekend and not get in the water. I'm not saying it was a bad weekend to go to Put. There's never a bad weekend to go to Put-in-Bay, but it was a hot one. So you guys had a house, or do you rent?
We had an Airbnb.
Airbnb.
So it was pretty cool. Like, right. It was like probably a 4-minute taxi ride to all the bars.
I told you about the taxi. Stay away from the golf carts. Yeah. Were they cracking down? That's the new thing on Put-in-Bay. They're cracking down on all the golf cart rentals and stuff like that.
Yeah, I didn't see too many golf carts out.
Okay, actually. Yeah, I think they're starting because like when we used to go up there, and we still do from time to time, but like back in the day, it was a wild, wild west. People would bring their own golf carts. They could rent them. And it was a free-for-all. And I think the city probably started saying, all right, we got to crack this down a little bit here. We got to start doing something, because it was getting in. You couldn't even park downtown. Like, you would ride it in from wherever you were. You couldn't even park to try to go to any of the bars and stuff like that. So I'm glad you had a good. What was the bar you guys spent the most time at?
Oh,
Mojito Bay?
No, we were only there one day. I think probably Beer Barrel.
Beer Barrel, the long bar, the world's longest bar.
Yeah.
That's the
That
Beer
was the
Barrel.
most packed.
What'd you eat? Did you
Actually,
go get
no, I take that back. That was probably the second one.
Okay.
Mr. Ed's.
Yes, Mr. Ed's is very popular.
Yes.
Very. Did you get your pizza at Frosty's?
I did.
Okay, that's a requirement. You don't go to Put in Bay and not slide over to Frosty's for a pizza.
We ate at Pasquale's for breakfast.
Okay, all right.
Where else did we go?
Did you get any of the lobster bisque?
No.
Oh, on the boardwalk?
No, spent too much money on alcohol.
Well, yeah, that'll happen.
Spent a lot of money.
Well, I mean,
but it was expensive.
but that's again at the bar.
Yeah, it's not like I went in there not knowing that.
You can't take cash to the swim up bar. You got to take card, and then you get nervous about other people's drinks getting put on your card. Or
I saw some wild things in the pool,
dude. Of course. Any that you'd like to share?
They had an ass shaking contest.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I mean that
was pretty cool.
Did you win?
No, I lost.
Okay. Came in third.
I had a front row seat. Cool. But just some crazy things.
It's not family friendly anymore. It really. I know people go to Put in Bay with their families, and now that we have kids, I'm like, you know what? I really, I just don't know. A day trip maybe, because like our family's place is literally around the corner, in Marblehead over there. So maybe a day trip, but you got to get in and out. If you're staying, like you're partying, that's different.
Families, but
you got to get out of there by 8 o'clock.
Between.
8 o'clock, you're out of there. You got to be back in the house. So I'm glad you made it. We're back here and we're talking guards because
it was cool because I got to see our shows like on the ones out on Bally's.
Oh yeah, they're all like it's cool. Funny because some people
saw myself at the bar. I was like,
oh yeah, that's right. You sent that text.
Yeah.
Okay, so a little.
I didn't try it though. I didn't try.
So we got a text. I don't know if I can say what Dave initially said with the text. When's that coming? Soon. It's out. Like it's in final testing. Is it not?
He said the beta by this week, I think.
All right. There's something new coming for us at Big Play we'll get to. So Ryan, we were in a text thread, and he sent a text of him sitting at the bar watching.
I was at the Blue Marlin.
The Blue Marlin. All right.
That's the pool one.
Yeah. And you're sitting there, and you're watching The Return with Josh and Maria. Ryan is on that show. Did you pull do you know who that is on the TV?
No,
Ryan was going to go up to a young lady and go, that's me up there on the TV.
The only thing it was during the day and like there was nobody really truly watching. It was more just on the background. So I didn't have.
So you sit at the bar and you go, who's that guy on the TV up there? Oh my God.
It was going to look like I was just pushing.
Is that Dean Cain?
Yeah.
Oh God, there's Dean Cain.
I couldn't do it in that moment, but it's okay.
It's still pretty cool. So we're across the board there on Bally's, which is a great weekend. Great weekend for the Guardians, man. And I feel like, again, that series up in Toronto left me a bad taste, dude. Their past week was phenomenal. The Bats are alive, man. And you're at home, whether it's that damn wind tunnel, but it's hot, and the ball is going to fly out of there when it's hot, and it worked out well for the Guardians. But it was a fight, right? It was a fight. A lot of those games you had to come back from behind. We'll start a little bit about the pitching. Yes, I mean, like, Ryan, I hate to say it, but, like, if you got a little better starting pitching, you wouldn't have to sweat out some of these games. Now, you won 7-1 on Friday. You took it to them 6-3. Yesterday, it was the fight back and forth, and it's because Tristan McKenzie was on the hill. And, today is a day for optimism. And I don't want to sit here because we're going to talk about what you expect them to do at the trade deadline and things like that. 3 runs over 3 innings and another home run. You walked 4 while only striking out 3. Gave up 2 bombs, actually. I'm sorry. 2 bombs. And your team found a way. The bullpen was electric again. 2 runs that I didn't even know that guy was on our team, McClanahan or whatever it was. Hench's lights out. Cade Smith did well. Heron got the win. You found a way, okay? You found a way to fight your way through that. The question is, how much longer can this team continue to push on Tristan McKenzie? And you're putting pressure on Bobby, who's back on the hill tonight. After all those strikeouts he put up last week, last 2 starts, set back-to-back career highs in strikeouts, back at it tonight. You think about what are your options, okay? Carrasco, quality start, got you a win. Logan Allen looked fine, and Lively fine again on Saturday, right? So, McKenzie, it's almost like I don't want to pull him out of the rotation. You know what I'm saying? Because if I pull him out, I know I'm not getting anything out of him, and it's over. right? And again, I'm talking about this season. You keep him in there, it's like the basketball adage, just keep shooting. When a shooter's in a slump, what do? You tell him, you just keep shooting. You keep Tristan McKenzie in there and hope that he can find the command. Vogt talked about it. McKenzie has brought it up. It's a command thing. It's not velocity. It's all command. That's leading to the walks and the home runs. Whether it's the elbow thing, which he keeps saying it's not, so I'm just going to set that to a side. If he's missing his command, you can't fix that by sitting him down. Could you send him to the minors and just let him beat up on some AAA hitting and get his confidence back? Maybe. Are they waiting on Gavin Williams, who again keeps like his 5 days keep meshing up with Carrasco, and people keep thinking it was going to be Carlos Carrasco who'll come replace? Do you find a place to maybe send McKenzie down? Would that screw him up even worse? I don't know. But you're leaning on your bats, which is fine, right? Naylor, one of the league leaders in home runs. Steven Kwan's a 400 hitting power hitter, right? Like, that's where we're at right now with him.
So fill me in, because I told you before we got on the air, obviously, I was off the grid, no service and putting
nothing wrong with that, buddy.
But I was able to, see updates, and obviously I know we swept the Blue Jays, which was really nice, but it was another command issue for McKenzie.
Yeah, it's 100% that. Yeah. Well, no, even that's what Vogt said after the game. That's what he said is really faulting. And again, if you look at home runs and walks, that's command. You're not putting the ball where you need to for walks, and you're giving up pitches for the bombs. So that's it. And how do you fix command? You got to keep him in there. Him going and throwing extra bullpens isn't going to fix command. It's almost like he's got the yips. I'm sure if he went to a bullpen session, he'd be painting every corner. That's like being at the range. That's being a range warrior. When you're on the driving range and striping every one of your shots, you step to the first tee and, okay, here we go. Put it down the middle. Can't do it. Kevin Kisner had a great line about that one time. You know Kiz, right? The golfer. Everybody loves him. He's the guy that, so the famous story about Kevin Kisner was he was golfing in a Pro-Am, and he had 17 beers and 17 holes or something like that. And he stuck a shot like on a par 3 or something. And the guys are like, dude, you can barely stand up, and you just put that to 2 feet. And he just turns to him and he goes, this ain't no hobby, boys.
Facts.
And then they asked him, he goes, yeah, I show up to tournaments all the time, and I know I can't win. And they go, why do you show up? And he goes, they pay a lot of money for 20th place, too.
They sure do.
And then he had another line, which is the one I'm getting to. And he goes, I can stripe it 200 times on the range and put it exactly where I need to. And he goes, I come out in the first tee and I can't. And he goes, if I can't drive it straight, I can't win. And that's just what it is. Is that it with Tristan McKenzie? Is right now the command, he doesn't have it, so he's going to struggle. Now, you win games. The thing is, you've been able to continue to overcome Tristan McKenzie. Then I come back to, if that is your one weak link in your starting rotation, right? When you look at it, it's rare. You're not going to have 5 Cy Young guys in your rotation. If that's the one that you're going to have to kind of avoid, and it's calling for what it is. This lineup knows when he's on the hill, we got to help him out. Corey Kluber would die to have the run support that Tristan McKenzie has right now, because he never got it when he was here. I didn't Google it this morning. It just came up here. MLB run support. Support leaders. Let's go to StatMuse here. All right, here we go. Ryan Feltner on the year has the highest run support. I'm trying to look who the highest Guardian is. Logan Allen is 15th in baseball. They have scored 45. So again, Ryan Feltner leads baseball. He gets 62 runs over 15 games that he started. Let's do some math.
I was going to say, it doesn't average out for you?
No, I got to do it here. Old school. So 15 starts. Actually, I should probably do it the other way, right? 62 divided by 15. That guy's getting 4 runs a start. You know who's 6th? Old friend Aaron Savali. The first Guardian on this list is Logan Allen. In 40, I can do this math. 45 divided by 15. He gets 3 runs a start.
Oh yeah. Do you know how many starts Allen has more than McKenzie?
He's not. So I'll tell you this: Tristan McKenzie's not in the top 25. As I look this out here. Okay, let's see this. Fangraphs, maybe. Fangraphs get so freaky, man. They got so much crap on here. All right, I'm going back. Hang on, stand by. Son of a gun. I hate sometimes we need a stat boy on the show. Stat girl, stat person. Something. Sorry. Now I'm like really interested. See, okay. These are relievers too, and I don't need that. I need a qualified guy. Garrett Cole, yeah, we got it. Run support. Like one guy got 11 runs in one game that he started. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm not going to be able to do this while we do the show. This is going to be too much. Like Ryan Feltner, Logan Allen, Tanner Bybee. According to this, Tanner Bybee's getting 5. That's not true. That can't be true. 5 runs a game for him? Come on now. That can't be it. This is on Odd Shark, by the way. All right, let me search for McKenzie. Again, I don't think this is actually going to... Tristan McKenzie, this can't be right. 14 starts, he's averaging 5 runs a game. You know what? You know what I'm going to do? Let's go to Tristan McKenzie's game log.
There you go.
Now, these are going to be all of the games, right? So runs that they scored later. So they put up 6 yesterday. The loss to Seattle, they put up 5. Cincinnati, 5. KC, 8. Colorado, 13. Mets, 6. Twins, 3. So what's that? That's his last 7 starts. And I would say that average is probably somewhere around 6 runs total scored, even when he's not in the game. And you've won, in his last 7 starts, you've won 6 of those games. So you've had to overcome McKenzie with some of the issues. You want to know the scary thing? In his last 6 starts, he's given up at least 2 runs in every one of those starts, with giving up at least 3 in 5 out of those last 6 starts. You can live that way only so long. And I guess you could probably look at it from this standpoint, Ryan, and saying, like, these wins are almost bonus, right? With where the Guardians are at, 7.5 game lead, you've been able to overcome Tristan McKenzie, but what do you do? When's the string out? When do you run this out and say, we can't do this anymore? And is it Gavin Williams that comes up and takes his spot? Maybe not Carrasco's. The other solution to that problem would be you go make a trade. And I want to post this question. With everything that's going on with the Guards and the optimism that we feel, the bats, Kwan is an animal, Naylor, dude, Schneemann is hitting. Like, everybody in this lineup is contributing right now. What do you expect the Guardians to do at the trade deadline? We're about a month away from it. But what do you expect the Guardians to do at the trade deadline? I'm going to give you 3 answers to fill this in, Ryan. A big splash. This is a big move. This is multiple prospects. This is a guy to not save your season, because we don't need saving right now, but a level of a Josh Donaldson, of an Andrew Miller, something like that. A, big splash. B, a middle-of-the-road type move. This is your number 3 starter. This is maybe a platoon guy out there in the outfield, something like that. A middle-of-the-road. Or C, I don't expect nothing. And that's either they'll do a minor move or they won't do anything at all. And I don't know if I would imagine they're going to do something. At this point, if you're a contending team, you make some sort of move. So we'll post that at Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow. Twitter, Instagram. We stream every morning, of course, on Twitter, X, at Matt Fontana Show. We're up on Twitch, and we're also on YouTube. Drop a subscribe to the channel there, at Matt Fontana Show. Again, with everything you've seen out of the Guardians, what are you expecting them to do at the trade deadline? Because, Ryan, it's a conversation we've had a lot about the pressure that they're going to put on this front office to go make a move. Now, the comeback would be, this team is pretty built. Like, there's not pitching is your hole. Your starting pitching is your glaring hole. And I read some of the things about the Mets over the weekend, where the Mets, who are actually contending, they're going to give away some of their starting pitcher because they already have some other guys that they feel like can take up the mantle here and move on. We've run through a few of those Mets starters, and none of them really gets you all that excited. Sean Manaea, the other guy, like, none of those really. Fontana, who's had a bad season. Do they really, wet your whistle on what you're looking to get? I don't know. But I also wonder what the Guardians would say if they didn't. If they really felt like this team can overcome the starting pitch. And again, when Bybee's on the hill, you don't feel that. Ben Lively has been fine. And when you get to a 3-game series or the World Series or the ALCS, you're getting those guys back in the rotation quicker. the lineup, I almost don't want to mess with the lineup right now. I don't want to have to try to find at-bats for a new piece that you traded for. So if I zero myself in to say I only want them to trade for a starting pitcher, that's it, then I don't think there's a way you make a big splash, right? I don't think there's a way that you can make a giant splash unless, and again, I'm trying to piece through the teams that have availability and are willing to trade pieces away. The big splash that you would make is going to Chicago and getting Garrett Crochet out of there. Are they really going to trade him in division? And it's not like football where that rarely happens, but like that's a tough ask. That's your big splash. So if I think about the limited amount of big splash moves you can make for a starting pitcher, and that's all I want, Ryan, I got to vote. I think it's middle of the road. I think they're going to make a middle of the road type of trade. So I might be, and I say this, and I don't mean this to be as negative as it's going to sound, we're stuck with Tristan McKenzie. We are stuck with Tristan McKenzie. And the hope is that he could figure it out. I'm not putting all my eggs in the basket of Gavin Williams, but I hope McKenzie can figure it out. So I'm going to go middle of the road. I think they're going to make a middle of the road trade. I think it's going to be a starter. Ryan, please cast your vote at Matt Fontana Show this morning. What are you expecting for the Guardians at the trade deadline? Big splash, middle of the road, or they're not going to do much?
I'd probably say middle of the road
All
as
right,
well.
fair enough.
I would like it to be a big splash. And in terms of big splash, for me, that would just be two, at least middle of the road starting pitchers that you're going to plug into this rotation.
You're talking about quantity maybe over quality.
Yeah, and it always takes two teams to tango. So it's not always going to be on the Guardians. If there's I'm not expecting them to go make a move for move's sake. But like you said, when you're a contender at this point of the season, and the Guardians at this point are even more so than a contender, I would say they're a real contender, and they're gonna win that. I don't want to say that.
They're winning.
I really truly think they're
going
to win the AL Central.
Yes.
So when you're at that point,
and now you're hunting for that bye too.
Yeah, exactly. And
all you got to do is avoid the guys AL West. AL East is going to get one. That's fine. Slide into that 2 spot and just keep the Mariners
and
behind.
There's a clear issue with starting pitching. I understand if you truly believe that this is something you can overcome, and we've done that so far, you could say, but when you get down to these pennant-chasing months, I'm not trusting what we have right now in the least bit in October. So I need 2 starting pitchers, and for me, that'd be a big splash. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think they'll get 1. So
yeah,
I'll go
fair enough. Middle of the road it is. The importance of this weekend, too, I don't want it to be lost. It was packed. My brother and his friend went to the game on Saturday. He said it was electric. They're doing the right thing to get the fans back out there through the month of July. Again, I can't believe we're already July. But here we are, pretty much. But we're going to be there. And getting the fans down there and showing them those kind of games, that's important stuff, too, for the Guardians. So I'm happy to see they had a fantastic weekend off the heels of a great week. And I turned things over to ESPN. So they ran through their mid-season awards list. This is from Bradford Doolittle. Everybody loves him. AL MVP, NL MVP, Cy Young. He did relievers and rookies, and I think there's Guardians that are interesting on all this list. So we start with the MVP. And they come up with this AX metric, okay? And whatever that is, they come up with it. Okay, fine. The runaway right now, I shouldn't say runaway, but a gap for the top 2 is Aaron Judge at 1 and Gunnar Henderson at 2. Then there's a gap to Juan Soto at 3. Bobby Witt is at 4. Jared Duran of the White Sox is at 5. And at number 6, it's not Jose Ramirez, it's Steven Kwan at 6. Jose is down at 9. Now, this is just a straight metric. This is not like voters, which I think a lot of that has to do. Stats are one part of it, but I think optics are another big part of it, and that's unfortunately probably why Jose Ramirez has not won an MVP at this point. But are you shocked that Kwan, just on this, would be higher than Jose Ramirez? I guess maybe we shouldn't be that shocked.
I'm not shocked. I mean, name value, that's a big shock because it's Jose Ramirez. And I mean, Steven Kwan's becoming a household name. Jose Ramirez already was. So maybe a little bit of shock on that front. But all the guys ahead of Kwan, I mean, they all mashed dingers. Like, that's the issue here. But the fact that he's hitting almost 400 and now he's showing some power, that's just something you can't overlook.
AX is a rating system developed to combine the results of leading publicly available value metrics. Batting WAR, fielding WAR, win probability, and championship. How the hell do they do championship probability for a guy? But that's what AX is. Here's so for some just to give you an idea, 100 is average, and Aaron Judge is at 151. Stephen Kwan is at 132. Jose Ramirez is at 128. So again, of average being about 100, they say 120 is 2 deviation steps above average. So basically, Jose Ramirez, Stephen Kwan, they're about, above that, 2 steps above that. NL MVP, Shohei running away with that. AL Cy Young, not a Guardian on the list. So Tanner Bobby's not here. I wondered if they would put Emmanuel Clase in there, but they didn't. Tanner Houck is the runaway favorite right now. Garrett Crochet is right behind him with Seth Lugo and Tariq Skubal. Top reliever in baseball, Emmanuel Clase. He's got a 124 axe, which we were talking about. And that Brian Hudson of the Brewers is right behind him, but Clase is the best reliever in baseball. Rookies, that Luis Gil from the Yankees is top of the list, but Cade Smith, Hunter Gaddis, and Daniel Schneemann are all in the top 10 for rookies when it comes to this axe metrics. They say the most surprising player this year has been Jurickson Profar. The most exciting player is Bobby Witt. The most surprising team in all of baseball, the Kansas City Royals. The most disappointing team in baseball, the Houston Astros. They say the best team, the New York Yankees right now. Of course, that's kind of where it goes. And they didn't do managers in this. Obviously, these are just all players and things like that. But I would wonder where Vogt would come in for manager of the year, because I think he's done a fantastic job. For a rookie to come in, to be able to have this team playing the way that they are, I think he'll get some love for that. So I was a little shocked that it was Kwan over Ramirez. Just, again, that's just on this one metric. But I also think you're talking about this keeps going on. You should have 2 guys in the top 7 of AL MVP voting at the end of the year. If Kwan, I don't think he's going to be able to bat 400. I mean, that's just absolutely insane. But if he ends the season 370, 380, I know we're all counting at bats for him to be qualified, which should be early this week when he gets there. He'll be in the top 7, and Jose Ramirez just pretty much is a top 7 guy for the AL MVP as it goes on. So we'll keep going a little bit of baseball this morning at Matt Fontana Show on Twitter. Cast your vote. Ooh, breaking news for the Cavs. Well, I say breaking news, but we got news on the Cavs.
I saw it from Shams.
Cavs are working to secure 2 fronts. Cleveland is confident about reaching the contract extension with Donovan Mitchell and is in its final stages of deciding its new coach, according to sources from Shams. Here it is. Cavs are working, okay, as we know. But they do say, Shams says, the Cavs are in their final stages of deciding between Kenny Atkinson and Kenny Atkinson and James Borrego. That's what Shams and Joe Vardon and Jason Lloyd are on this article too. They're in their final decision stages between Atkinson and James Borrego as they move forward. So we're going to talk Cavs here anyway. I mean, think about it this way. It's a little shocking that they have not yet announced their coach as you get ready for the NBA draft date, which is Wednesday. Wednesday's the first round of the NBA draft, and you don't have a coach yet. They'll have one before that. I think it might be today. I think they're finally going to make that announcement today. Now, the other side of things, they're confident about reaching that contract extension with Donovan Mitchell. They can't sign that for another week or 2. But what a flip that has been. Where, I don't want to say even flip, because you know where I was when the offseason started. I was a little skeptical when it came to what they were going to do Donovan Mitchell. But if we're here, man, and he's going to sign this deal, that's your biggest move of the offseason. And I'm assuming that Mitchell sees the growth. I think for him, he's probably got to be a little uneasy, as Kobe Altman is, as I am, as you are, about what trades they're going to be able to do. But the overwhelming belief that Donovan Mitchell feels like this is the place for him, you've won the offseason. That's it. You know, people talk about winning press conferences and winning the offseason, and for a long time, that's all the Browns ever did. You win. If Donovan Mitchell re-signs with your team, I almost don't care what they do with Jared Allen. I don't care what they do with Darius Garland. You got Donovan Mitchell back. Go ahead and hire your coach. You then have won the offseason. So with that in mind, it maybe frees up Kobe. I'm sure it does. It's going to free him up to make the right moves. I still think you take into account what Donovan feels like will be the best for him, what player he thinks is the guy that needs to be here with him. And also, you don't want to be sitting on the phone with a GM making trades and then on the other phone going, hey, they're offering this guy, or what do you think about this? Oh, wait, we're going to push this. You don't want to do that, Donovan Mitchell. But you already at this point have to have a vibe of what Mitchell needs with this team. You got the idea. Let's go out there and make the moves as he needs to see fit.
Do you see this extension? How long do you think? You thinking like 4 years, final year, player
I
option?
would say player option would probably, like, if you are Donovan Mitchell, you want that, you want the LeBron. You want that security. You want the LeBron of holding the team accountable. And again, it's like, the Cavs are going to do it. Like, they're not packing it in or by any. You have your opportunity now to go make some waves. So, the player option is just about him getting his money too. And you want to hold that, as your ace up the sleeve of pushing for more, like right now, right? Why is this contract even becoming that much more? Because he has the player option, which we all assume, if he just declines, you're out of here after the year. But you like that as you're the player. It holds the team accountable a little bit. I would probably say it's the 3-year with the player option. I think it's the 3-year with the player option. That would probably be it. We know he's eligible for the 4. We got big news on the horse, too. Apparently, they're giving the name soon.
Really?
Yeah. I got my first update from my racehorse on the big play horse. I'll explain it to everybody later. Sorry, I just saw that kind of come up on Twitter as I'm scrolling through here. Borrego's sources have said was the front runner as of last week. And this is from Shams, Jason, and Joe on The Athletic. Borrego's sources said was the front runner as of last week until Cleveland's front office met with Dan Gilbert on Wednesday. That's when Atkinson's candidacy gained considerable momentum after the meeting between Gilbert and team executives. Do you like that? Sounds like, again, just from this article on The Athletic this morning, do you feel like Dan Gilbert's involvement, good or bad?
I'd say good.
I mean, like the fact that we thought it was going to be Borrego, I kind of believed that it was going to be Borrego. And now all of a sudden Dan comes in, he likes Kenny Atkinson. What do you think Dan is pushing about Kenny Atkinson?
Maybe Donovan likes him more.
Maybe. A little longer in the tooth as far as has had some more experience in the coaching circles. I'd have just gone. I think it could still be Borrego. Carter, right now. You gonna hire? I think they're hiring today. I think they're hiring him today. Atkinson or Borrego? Atkinson. The owner wants that. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, I don't know how Donovan.
Okay.
I mean, if
was it some meeting?
Is it as simple as whichever one? I mean, I know it's never that simple, but could it really truly be that simple?
Well, the fact that it's even this close, if it's even this close, then you're looking for the little type of things to sway you one way or the other. Now, the owner coming in and saying, I like this guy, that's a pretty big sway. That's a pretty big little move to say, all right, let's lean that way. The question is, in that meeting, did Dan Gilbert sit down and they said, we're leaning Borrego? And he said, just let me play devil's advocate for a minute. And let me pitch you on why I like Kenny Atkinson. Was he doing that as an exercise to make sure they've crossed all their T's, dotted all their I's, and all that stuff? Or was that him inserting his, what, I own this team, I'm going to tell you what I want, or what I think? And that's a tough job for Kobe Altman. Let's think about that for a second, right? Kobe didn't end this season with the highest of marks, right? There were people certainly out there that said he deserves a lot of this blame as much as JB did. Do you acquiesce to what your owner wants because you're on a little bit of thin ice? Like if you were a more set general manager, if you were a guy, even going through a coaching firing, and you had all the support, you might be able to push back on that a little bit more. I don't know if Kobe has that. So when your owner drops a little nugget that he likes this guy over that guy, I think you're leaning more towards doing what the owner does because you don't maybe have all the standing that you're looking for.
I would.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you're owner, if you're on a little shaky ground and you're leaning James Borrego, but your owner and the guy that cuts the checks sits there and he goes, you know what? I kind of like Kenny Atkinson over here. How much does that change you? How much does that change your thought process? Or again, do you sit down and no question say, I'm going to do the best, like I'm going to do what I want to do. This is the best move that I see, and maybe I'll go against it. I think no matter what, like, I guess, you're picking between two that it could be either one. You could shake them in a hat. You could put two names in a hat, shake it up, and pick one out. That's how I view it. I'm sure Kobe doesn't want it to be viewed that way because then it sounds like he doesn't know what he's doing or all his prep and all his insight really doesn't matter. But there's a lot. There's a lot when you look at exactly what they're going to do with this move. And if you've got Dan Gilbert sitting there saying, I like this or I kind of like that, how does that impact it? Head over to a mock draft as we're 2 days away. And this mock, the title that I saw was, what are the Cavs going to do at 20? And you're like, well, of course I'm going to click on this. Jonathan Givony, Jeremy Woo, mock draft. Here we go. Zachary Rice Archer, whatever his name is, the other guy out of France. Alex Sarr goes second, Reed Shepard third, Stefan Castle 4, and Matthias Buzelis out of the G League goes 5. Okay, none of that really interested for us. Dalton Connect goes 6. I want to see where Jacoby Walter, Zach Edey gone at 15. Where's Klingon? Wait a minute. Furpy? Dude, wait a minute. Kyle Filipowski. Where is Donovan Klingon? Donovan Klingon. Oh, 7. All right, sorry, I missed him. I was like, wait a minute. Why am I not seeing Donovan Klingon? All right, so he's gone. So we scroll down to the Cavs here at 20, which, this draft, I think the interesting thing for me, are they drafting a guy for the Cavs? Are they drafting the guy for somebody else? Are you going with upside to try to flip him in a deal? Are you drafting somebody that's really going to help out your team? This is yet another mock, same mock from Givony and Woo. They have Carlton Carrington again, a guard out of Pittsburgh, going to the Cavs at 20. They write up. Carrington finally earned one of the final green room invitations, and he's likely to come off the board somewhere in the top 20. Oklahoma City, Sacramento, and Orlando are thought to be all of the interested parties. He's impressive and creates flashes as one of college basketball's youngest players, along with solid intangibles to make him appealing as a long-term addition for any team in need of backcourt help. Carrington might come off the board before this pick at 20. But with the Cavs, who are in position to select the best talent available, they would likely be excited to see him fall to 20 and the Cavs swoop him up there. What does that tell you? It's probably a Darius Garland trade. Now, are you going to start some 19-year-old rookie in your backcourt with Donovan Mitchell? I don't know. But it is opened up for the Cavs to take the best player available there at 20. And I go back to them making the right trade for the team, the right selection for their team versus, again, trading that pick away. We'll find out. We'll find out, Wednesday night. And I don't know, how intrigued are you for the draft? Like, are you?
I won't be watching.
You don't even care?
I don't even think I'll watch it.
Really? You got to watch it,
It just depends if I have something better going
The
on.
issue is, like, going back to Put in Bay. Little day trip.
I need at least
Are
a
you
month off
done?
of
You're
that.
probably like, you're done for the summer, right? There's your one trip. You won't go back to Put in Bay till next year.
Yeah, Put in Bay probably not.
Put in Bay in the fall is fun, though. As long as you're like not, if you're just going to say, hey, we're going to hit up the bars, we don't really need to go to the pool.
It's really like, it's in state, but it really is like a...
it's a trip. Get on the fair. Did you take the jet or the Miller?
I don't know. It was...
The fast one or the slow one?
I mean, I wouldn't say it was fast, but I wouldn't say it was slow, so probably...
Was there a bunch of cars on it?
Yeah, because we brought a couple.
Then you were on the Miller Fair. The Miller Fair is the only one that takes cars over.
Okay.
The blue looks like a barge.
Yes.
That's the Miller Fair.
Yes.
No, that's slow, Ryan. It's not very fast. The Jet Express is fast. That's just people.
It's like 15 minutes.
Did you go on the south side of the island? You docked at the south side of the island, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Miller. Jet goes all the way around. They go to the north side. So there you go. The Jet's yellow. Yellow is the Jet Express.
Yeah.
So you're on the Miller Fair.
Yes.
But so Wednesday night, you gotta have a little interest. Gotta see. It's not the NFL draft, like, where we're all in on that and all the players. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna see. And the other thing, do the Cavs trade up? Do they make a draft night? You're not at all interested to see if they're going to do a draft night trade?
Well,
There's no interest in that.
It's like the draft. I watch the NFL draft religiously because the NFL is my favorite sport. But
Sure.
what's the point of even watching the draft when all I see is Shams and Woj? I already know who's drafted 3 spots before they're even taken. There's no interest.
That is a little argument about them tipping
no
picks.
point in
And they
watching.
yelled at them about that. So all these, content people and all the people on Twitter, they just go, I'm hearing it should be this. Like, you're right. Maybe you got to shut Twitter down. But I want to see the reaction on Twitter of the picks. I want to see the reaction on the Twitter of all the picks.
Like, the one thing I was good, like, for the NFL, when the Falcons drafted Michael Penix. Luckily,
you were shocked.
I was, because I didn't look at my phone.
Right.
And I was like, wow, that was awesome.
Because everybody likes to say, like, ooh, big shot. Like, again, it's not even that they tip the pick, but they go, I'm hearing something crazy coming out, and then you're all worried. The drama is off the board. I'm going to watch, and the pick, it doesn't have to be that they'll, right away, the instant thing is this guy ever going to actually step foot in Cleveland as a member of the Cavs? Are they going to trade him that night? Are they going to come introduce them? Are they going to be moved away? It's all about the primer for the rest of the offseason. So we'll talk about that, I'm sure, on Wednesday, of your excitement for the NBA draft coming up. To football, and I bring this up because I'm not trying to drive this stadium narrative. You know where I stand on it. I want a dome downtown. I want it to be in a brand new spot. I can't have that. So make the best option available. Is it Brook Park? Is it downtown? Here's the interesting party this morning that comes out related to the Carolina Panthers. So this came out from Pro Football Talk. I'm going to pull the article up here. And so this offseason, I feel it's pretty interesting that we've had quite a few teams be in a stadium situation similar to the Browns. Jacksonville's got to get things redone. Chicago's got a brand new one getting done. Buffalo's getting their done. You got everything that's going on with Kansas City and the Royals, the Chiefs and the Royals, and what they're doing. And now Charlotte with the Panthers. This morning from Florio, via Joe Pearson of The Athletic, the Charlotte City Council will vote tonight on a proposal to renovate the 29-year-old stadium of where the Panthers play. Person predicts, based on the tenor of meetings during the project's unveiling in a public forum last week, that the 11 members of the Charlotte City Council, are expected to approve the renovation likely by a lopsided margin. It's going to be like 11-1. Or sorry, there's 11 people. 10-1, right? 8-2. This thing's going to get smoked. That will be $650 million of Charlotte tax money going to David Tepper. Do you know David Tepper's net worth, Ryan? It's over $20 billion. The
only thing I know about him is he has a very short leash on his temper.
So Florio puts it in here. He calls him a bully. He calls the city acquiescing to their billionaire bully, as Mike Florio puts it in this article. The reason I bring up David Tepper's net worth is he's got 2.5 times the net value of the Haslams. They're a little over 8. He's near 21. Okay? I'm going to bring that up saying the Haslams, they're rich and David Tepper is rich. And he still got $650 million out of the city of Charlotte for renovations. And Florio writes, amongst elected officials, there's a greater willingness to play ball with those who want to play games in stadiums for which they don't pay the full freight. Maybe there's a fear of repercussions at the ballot box. Maybe they don't want to give future opponents the ability to say they're responsible for a team leaving. What he's saying is the city council, and I think it's the same thing kind of with what we're dealing here, they're elected officials. You don't want to be the people that have the stink on you that you let your team leave, right? That's kind of what Florio's point to here. As long as city councils and county commissions and state legislatures and executives will give people what they want, but what they don't need, taxpayer money will continue to go to places other than where it's needed. So Florio's angle is one that I don't think can get lost here. That taxpayer money should go to education, should go to combat homelessness. It should go to be able to fix our roads, to fix our infrastructure. That stuff doesn't move the needle for voting. That's not the stuff that gets articles written about it, right? Big headline, Browns might leave Cleveland. Now, the difference is if the Panthers left Charlotte, they're not going 20 minutes down the road. They're gone. They're going to go somewhere else. They'll go to London. The London Panthers. Oh, that's actually a pretty good name. Write that down. They're gone. Cleveland is battling this where it's not quite the 5-alarm fire, because if you lose them to Brook Park, you still have them relatively in town, right? But that's where I want that pressure on the city because I want the Browns to stay downtown. This is the biggest difference, and this is why, like, Charlotte is so different. If you meet a Panthers fan, they go, give them the money so they don't leave. City of Cleveland, I feel like we are very divided as a fan base, and dare I say, the majority of the fan base might actually say, go to Brook Park. So it's not this push that it is in Charlotte with us here in Cleveland. Because, again, straw poll, I'd imagine it's going to be close to 50-50 on what people want. And then at that point, elected officials go, well, that's not enough to move the needle for us. We'll do whatever, right? And especially when you think about, and maybe what should be higher on this list, at least for me, the hurdles, the massive hurdles that you face of just redoing the stadium downtown. And I understand that if they got the renovations done, and they stayed over there at Cleveland Browns Stadium. Ryan, we're doing this again in 10 years. We're doing this again in 15 years of this bitching and moaning, this fighting about, well, we need more money for this, and you're on the lakefront, and things age quicker down there, and you still have things that you can't even fully renovate, right? You have got to do the clean sweep. If you have an older home like I do, there are just some things it'd be better just to tear it down. I deal with the squeakiest of floors. You know what I don't need? A security system. Because if somebody breaks into my house, I'm going to hear you squeaking on the floors, and I'll be up, and I don't need ADT to tell me somebody's in the house. I got squeaky floors. That's my security in West Park, all right?
Not Alvin?
No. If it was a dog, if a dog breaks into the house, we're good. I have, like, my family, my brothers stop over. They'll open the door, and he's like, somebody open the door. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Good job on that. Like, it's just better for me to fix my squeaky floors. I'd rather just tear my house down at that point. Like, there are just some things at the stadium that it's cost prohibitive for you to keep updating and keep doing this. That's why, again, I keep holding out hope, and it's stupid, and I know it's pie in the sky, and I'll never get it. I keep holding hope for a new stadium downtown. But Ryan, I keep the mark here. Shout out to Daryl Ryder, 92. Daryl has a running list of this whole thing. He's got a whole running list of what have the Bears done? What have the Bills done? What has Jacksonville done? You can now add Chicago, and now you can add Charlotte to this. Renovated, not brand new, $650 million in public money. $650 million of public money going to, by the way, an open-air stadium down there in Charlotte. Do they bitch about how much it gets used? Now, they do have a soccer team, right? Tepper owns the soccer team there, too. So, I don't know, get an MLS team up here. Crew's doing fine in Columbus. But look, that's the other thing. If there was something else, there's a chunk of fans that just, they bitch about how much the stadium gets used, right? You just had the Rolling Stones. That was pretty good. Got Billy Joel and Rod Stewart. I see all those promos everywhere. Monster Jam. Anybody? No? Okay. You complain about the stadium usage. That's why a lot of people want the dome. Ain't getting the dome downtown. So that's why we're maybe moving to Brook Park. But all this discussion about what Charlotte, and again, Charlotte, according to this article, they're not even close. This is going to pass almost unanimously, it sounds like, for $650 million. What do the Browns ask for? Supposedly $500. Supposedly $500 million from the city. And there's not much to discuss right now because the city doesn't know what they're doing, and neither do the Browns. This is still the posturing. This is actually probably things have died down. The Browns have made their position known. The city of Cleveland have made their position known. They probably won't do anything until some deadline shows up. And even when the deadline shows up, they'll just go, you know what? We agreed to extend the deadline. We'll just push it on back. Okay. Nothing will actually happen until it really needs to. And that'll probably be after the season, would it not? You know, they work on the calendar year. They don't work on the NFL year. So are they going to go through 2024 which we're already halfway through, and not have a resolution in place. Now, the issue with that is what? You delay getting your plans in place till 2025. Well, you ain't going to start building until 27. Lease is up at the end of 28, right? You have got to start your renovations or your brand new construction sometime in 2027. Can you quickly get that done? Could you quickly get this thing turned around? I don't know. But every little time something happens with another team when it comes to their stadium, just make that note. And if I'm not mistaken, Ryan, every single thing, and again, the Chiefs and the Royals are still very much they don't know what they're doing. They're still fighting over there. Everything else has had public money involved. And again, the Haslam's going to Brook Park would have some public funding, but that would be a lot of them footing the bill. No offense to Brook Park or the state. I don't know exactly what they're going to pay for them to go down to Brook Park. You know the city of Cleveland is going to have the most amount of taxpayer money and support. And I'm different than maybe some people that I don't mind paying. As a tax-paying person of the city of Cleveland and Cuyahoga County, I don't mind some of my money going towards that. I still want it to go to the roads, and boy, do I have a list of roads I need to send to them to get fixed up.
I was going to say, I don't mind a pothole here and there if that's going to lead me to a brand new luxurious stadium, but if we don't hoist a Lombardi in the next 10 years, I think I'm going to flip that feeling.
Well, then you also talk about, like, is it enough? Like, the sin tax we know is not enough. That's drops, pennies in a bucket. Oh, drops in a bucket, pennies of what you're looking for to try to fix it up. That's not enough anymore. So you need a brand new tax. You're going to need something in addition. Where's the state of Ohio in all this? But does this not help the Browns? The Panthers, again, this is going to happen tonight. The Panthers are going to get $650 million of taxpayer money to update their stadium. That's power to the Browns. And I see this as it goes on. You realize, man, the power's all in the Browns. They do. They're trying to get the money out of the city, and they say, if you don't, then we have other options, man, and we'll go somewhere else. And I just don't want Justin Bibb to be the guy to say, you know what, you let the Browns leave Cleveland. It's not as bad as the first time. I get it. But you know where I'm at. I don't want him to go to Brook Park. I don't want him to go to Brook Park. Okay, NCAA, SummerSlam, WrestleMania. I tell you, man, I don't think you're getting a Super Bowl. I really don't. I don't see whatever. So if you want to go to Brook Park and that's how entrenched you are, this continues to help it out. Every move that I've seen, all this does is help further the Browns' position. If the Browns' position really to go to Brook Park, they're sitting pretty good right now. We know the Guardians are sitting pretty good. Yeah, Guards! We do not need the Flames anymore. No more. No more Flames. None of that. But we still need some hot bats for tonight. Guards, we're going to flip it a little bit because we've been doing a lot of money line. It's been paying off. Orioles are losers at 3 straight. But we'll go some runs tonight. 6:35 out there in Camden Yard. I've been to Camden Yard. It's a beautiful stadium. Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. I love it. Very great ballpark. Ryan, laid out where are we at with our friends at Tipico.
Alrighty, we're going over 5.5 total strikeouts for Tanner Bybee tonight. We're going over 3.5 Guardians total runs. We're doing that instead of the money line. And then we're going 1 home run for one Mr. Josh Naylor. That's plus 17-14.
Woo! Let's go. You need my Face ID, not yours out there. Folks, download the Tipico app. Let's go. Here we are. Code Fontana 150. For new customers, here's what you get. You deposit $150. You will get 2 $75 protected bets. You place that on the hockey game tonight. Do you like the Panthers to win the title back at home tonight? They're a slight minus 115 favorite. There's a 3-leg Nerfy out there. Braves, Cardinals, Mariners, Rays, Pirates, Reds. Or you jump on our boost for a little bit of baseball going on with the Guards. Here we are in the app. Boom, done. Boosts. Big play boost. Oh, we got quite a few for this one. I'm in. Here we go. Done. Boom. Bet placed. And jump on it there with our friends at Tipico. Folks, best cashback parlay in the industry. They are. Where am I at? It's so easy, too, by the way. Where am I at here? So, okay, we do a lot of parlays. I'm $10 away from another bonus, by the way, on the boost. So here's what it is. Typical rewards. You earn real cash back on every completed mission. What the mission is, for every $100 of bets placed, 5% will be your cash back. Odds plus 100 or longer for parlays, and minus 150 or longer for your straight bets. So again, you got your straight bets you got to fill up. You got your parlays that you got to fill up. You get the cash back right back into your account. None of games of, well, you get a token, you can cash it in for this. It's right back in your account. You're off to the races for the betting. Terms and conditions apply. This is for new customers only on our bonus. So here's what, again, you deposit $150 as a new customer with code Fontana150. $275 protected bets right back into your account. Got a gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER. And again, terms and conditions apply. Check it out. What'd you get? Who do you like for the hockey tonight?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough hockey, but
Game 7. It's back in Florida.
Where does this rank among like the biggest? Because it was what, 3-1?
It was 3-0.
It's 3-0.
They would be the first team in history to come back down 3-0.
Is that worse than the Warriors?
That's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Wow.
I'm gonna still say the Panthers, just for blanks and giggles. $75 would win you $140. So again, if you place that bet with the code as a new customer and you win the bet, well, you're getting your $140. You lose, you get your $75 back. Actually, you want to know what you probably should do here? Take them minus a goal and a half. Dude, $75 pays you out near $250. Near $250 if you take the Panthers minus goal. Because here's what you hope. They're up 1-0 and you get an empty netter. What you need to avoid is overtime. Wait a minute here. Here's your play. Again, if you believe the Panthers are going to win, take them minus a goal and a half. And then can I just bet for the game to go to overtime? Game props. Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute here. Will the game go to overtime? Yes is plus 270. Bet your 75 on that. You're winning 277. You're hedging your bet. You'd win your money back over that, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Take the Panthers minus 70, or, again, minus a goal and a half. You believe if they win, you hope they get an empty netter to add it on in. And if they don't, you're going to overtime, you're cashing that on in. I like that play. I kind of like that play there from Tipico. Get signed up today using that code Fontana150. And don't forget our bets, our boosts, I should say, for the Guardians kicking it off tonight against the Orioles. Got a lot to get to in the morning update. Did those protesters mean to be at the Live tournament? That's the only question I'm going to have. We'll get to that on the golf. We got plenty more guards, plenty more Cavs as the week goes on. And I'm refreshing Twitter. I think we are in, I don't say the red zone here, but like I think we're coming down to
What do they have? What's it called? Like the yellow zone?
What's
Isn't
that?
there the red zone and then like the orange zone or the?
Oh, you're talking about like DEFCON 5 and all that kind of stuff?
No, in football.
Oh, in football.
There's a red zone, obviously.
Well, yeah, there's a red zone. I think there's something like that. I was talking about the state. Isn't there a color code for the national security?
When you're in like DEFCON 1, you're talking about that? Like
the national security.
The doomsday clock?
Homeland security, there's 3. Elevated is yellow, high is orange, and severe is red. That's for Homeland Security. Here's it. Green, blue, yellow, orange, and red. Low is the low risk. Then guarded is a general risk. Elevated is significant. High is high. And severe is severe. What is the current color code? What is it? National Terrorism Advisory System. I never know we'd be here today. There are no current advisories, so we're down in the green. Good. Keep it that way. Let's keep it that way. But yes, I would say that we are coming down the pipe here of the Cavs hiring a head coach. Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton. Either one? They're available.
Would I want one?
Would you take one?
Yeah, I'd probably take Bobby Portis.
I like Bobby Portis. It came out this morning, too. The Bucks, who really have to turn some things over up there with them as well, reportedly going to make Pat Connaughton or Bobby Portis available. Would you make that trade? Would you do that?
Say it again?
Bobby Portis or Pat Connaughton?
Oh, would I just take one?
Would you take either one? Like, again, the report this morning is that both Portis and Connaughton are they're available in trades. They're available in trades here. Rival executives, this is from Mike Scotto Hoops.
Moscato?
A little, isn't that a wine? Moscato. Rival executives have come away with the sense that Bobby Portis and Pat Connaughton are available in the trade market if Milwaukee can make a negotiable win-now upgrade. Both players, however, have been mentioned as possible trade candidates in the past, and nothing has come of it. Of course, Portis finished as Sixth Man of the Year finals for the second year in a row. Would you trade Darius Garland for Bobby Portis straight up?
No.
I might.
No.
You're losing a little value on that. I get it. But you're also then maybe helping a team. Again, the Central Division doesn't mean much in basketball, but you're helping a team in the East. Is that something that you'd be worried about? But I think that might be a trip. All right, starting to heat up on that. Ryan's got the morning update. We'll get to all of it. Stay with us. Fontana Show. Follow on Twitter X at Matt Fontana Show. Drop a subscribe on YouTube. We're also streaming on Twitch, and you can follow the Instagram at Matt Fontana Show. Morning update, protesting and all. Back after this.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
That's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yap.
Welcome to Big Play, a sports media team that started back in 2014, and now we're not in a garage. Look at us, incorporating some of Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland. Coming to you live from the shores of Lake Erie and Burke Lakefront Airport, join Team Big Play for all the best sports talk in Ohio. Check us out on social media at Big Play, bringing you fun and compelling content from downtown Cleveland.
Anthony Schlegel, just how physical he was. You saw the girth and the power and everything he was bringing to the table, especially when he was a nice beefy 255 playing middle linebacker.
We were called soft last year. You don't want to be soft, especially when you come to the playoffs. So that's going to be a process throughout this season of establishing us as a harder team here in the
How does an Ohioan build the perfect parlay?
Who's got something? Big guys looking for long odds. The kids in Columbus are covering better than anyone, and at even odds. If it's even, I'm leaving. Listen, our championship DVD starts today, all right?
Dude, I just got an invite to a Cincy playoff watch party.
Shut up. Cincy, State, Cleveland, the perfect parlay. I'm a genius.
For the best odds on Ohio sports, bet with your cojones.
It is Spanish, dummy.
Bet with Typical Sportsbook.
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
All right, welcome on back. Fontana Show right here. Twitter, X at Matt Fontana Show. YouTube, subscribe there. Twitch, if you want to follow. Did you see that Twitch story that went kind of viral over the weekend? That guy that don't like. Did you see his video? So there's this guy. He's got a Batman shirt on, which is pretty cool. And he's sitting there and he just got into Twitch streaming. And he was just kind of sitting there and like talking to people. And somebody stumbled in there and they started asking questions. And he goes, oh, I used to work at Disney and unfortunately I had to medically retire. Actually, I think he may have even lost his job. And this guy was like, oh, so you like kind of do this for fun? He goes, yeah, I was the voice of Crush, like the turtle from Finding Nemo. At one of the things at Disney, not the actual movie, but like at Disney World, you know what I mean? Yeah. And this person got him viral. He went from 100 followers to 273,000 over the weekend as like a good. Well, I followed him on Twitch. Where's that guy? Get him on our show. What the hell's that? Come on now.
That's what I was about
What
to
are we
say.
doing here? So we're on Twitch. Good for that guy. Because my wife even saw it and she sent it to me. She goes, "Are you following this guy?" She knows I watch Twitch. And she goes, "Oh, you love Batman too?" And I said, I did follow. I think it's a great story. Good for him. So, yeah, follow us on Twitch if you'd like there. All right, plenty of stories to get to. Ryan's got a Monday, wrapping up the weekend. Please take it away.
All right, Matt. Well, the Guardians swept it out this weekend against the Blue Jays as they extend their AL Central lead to 7.5
Love
games,
it.
49-26 on the year. A big road test this week as we take on the Orioles and the Kansas City Royals.
I love this, man. I love these kind of series. I'm excited. Again, just win this series. That's all I'm going to keep asking. Team's hot, man. Hot. Josh Naylor already has tied or maybe even set a career high in home runs. Stephen Kwan has already set a career high in home runs. Here it is. Josh Naylor tied his career high with 20 home runs on the season. I think he's going to break that. And Stephen Kwan has already set a career high with 7 home runs. You're now playing Major League Baseball. You are now playing what baseball is set up to be and being home run hitters. Even with Kwan, man. And the fact that you're doing it at home with the best record in baseball at home, I love where this team is at. The bats are, you're manufacturing runs too. That's the other thing. I still believe the Guardians can move the bases and they have average hitters. Talking about hitting for average, right? You can still do it a lot of different ways. And then if you got a lead come the 6th inning, here comes the best bullpen in baseball. Just comes back to your starters on any given night. You got Tanner Bybee tonight. And a little test here for a Baltimore team that all of a sudden scuffling a little bit. 3-game losing streak. They're only 4-6 in their last 10 games, and they're seeing that lead, and they start to slip away. They got swept by the lowly Astros. Astros scored 8, 5, and 14 runs. You want to know what that is? That was the Orioles took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. They started smelling themselves a little bit, and then they got swept out against the Astros. They feel like they're probably like, all right, we got to get right here against the Guardians. Dude, I can't tell you how much I love this. You get to, every night, sit down and you're going to watch meaningful, good baseball. Dude, I love it. Love it. Let's get it tonight, Bybee. I really like him over strikeouts, too. Orioles are middle of the pack as far as strikeouts per team, and their lineup is pretty solid. But Bybee, I think it's kind of like being even a hitter. When you're in that zone and you're feeling it as a pitcher that you're getting all these strikeouts, there's some momentum to be going here with Tanner Bybee. Get after it. Orioles are going to be hungry. Take it to them. Win the series, and I'll be feeling damn good. We'll get to that Royals series coming up as well, but I thank the Guardians so much for where they're at right now.
Alrighty, well, it was reported this morning that from the Athletic Shams that the Cavaliers are in the final stages of both their head coach search and a potential extension for Donovan Mitchell. And I believe, Matt, you think it will be announced today the Cavs' next head coach will be Kenny Atkinson.
Maybe Kenny Atkinson. Part of that article from Shams, Joe Vardon, and Jason Lloyd, it was leaning Borrego. Then they had a meeting with Dan Gilbert, and now you're back over to Kenny Atkinson a little bit. Throw him in a hat, pick one. Just pick one. And I don't think... Let me ask you this. Do you think it's a bad look if the Cavs go into draft night on Wednesday and don't have their head coach in place? Is that a bad look, or it doesn't matter?
I don't say it's a bad look.
You don't think it matters?
It's just hard to imagine.
It's just odd, right? It's just weird.
I mean, what are the odds that this kid that we draft even one plays for the Cavs?
Oh,
or two,
I'm
or
sorry,
two,
but
if he does, even plays for whoever the
But
next
that's
head
kind of my
coach is
point
gonna
is,
be.
like, what if you go into the draft, you're sitting in your war room Wednesday night, and wouldn't it be nice to, like, look to your head coach and go, hey, what do you think about this guy?
Would it be nice? The answer is yes.
Yeah. To go over and go, hey, what do you think about this? Or at least have an idea. The Cavs, I mean, I guess you could always say it's 3 things. Either it's a guard, a wing, or a big man. Those are the 3 positions in basketball. I get that. But, like, wings I don't think will be available. I don't think there's going to be a wing that's worth taking at 20. So if you divide yourself on down and you say it's either going to be a guard, which, again, it could be, going back to that, what's that kid again? Carlton, right?
Carlton?
Carlton, that's it, Carlton. Carlton Carrington, I think is his name.
Good name.
It's a great name. Makes it in Carlton from Fresh Prince, yeah. But Carlton Carrington. Or Yves Messi, who I've looked at from Baylor. Filipowski is still there. You don't want to look to your head coach going, you got a little input on this? Like, what do you think? Or are you just making this move in a vacuum? Sometimes that's also the best move to make, right? Just make a move in a vacuum. Do what you think is best. I just think it's weird. I think they'll have one by Wednesday. So here, you want to know what I think is going to happen? You will have the, not announcement, you're going to have it leaked out on the sources today. You will have the official announcement from the Cavs tomorrow, and you'll introduce your head coach sometime later this week, maybe when you get your draft pick in. Mark that down. I think that's how it plays out. Maybe we'll get that this afternoon. We'll be off to the races. We'll see how it goes.
Already, Matt, with the greatest 2 words in sports, Game 7. That's the Stanley Cup final. That will end tonight. Puck drop at 8 p.m. Edmonton Storms all the way back from down 0-3.
Scoring a lot of goals, man. They're in Bob's head, I think.
But it shifts back to Florida, as Florida is the slight favorite to get their first ever Stanley Cup victory.
What's my over-under on Tipico for goals? Actually, you want to know what I think the best bet is? Over. Oilers are hot. Goaltending's been a little bit of an issue. What about this? Let me go to the game. Okay. Over-under is 5.5 goals. Do they know something that we don't? Do they know something we don't? Here's your boost for tonight. Tell me which one you like. Connor McDavid, 3+ shots. Matthew Tkachuk, 3 or more shots. Together. Barkov to get a point. Verhaeghe to get a point. Sam Reinhart to get a point. And again, that could be that Barkov scores a goal, getting an assist from Verhaeghe and Reinhart on one play. You get it. That's plus 245. Panthers money line, Matthew Tkachuk to score a goal, plus 363. Oilers to win and Connor McDavid to score is plus 285. You know, a lot of people are jumping on the first goal scorer. Reinhart, McDavid, somebody's scoring a goal. Might as well just sprinkle it a little bit. Somebody's scoring a goal.
Odds are.
Barkov, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Evan Rodriguez again. I kind of like that. Plus 2,500. Get on it with Tipico. Dude, I was all in. You know what? I'm just going to take the Panthers. I'm going to take the Panthers. They're back at home. They'll put the slide. They'll hold. Oilers have nothing to lose, right? Well, obviously neither team does. Game 7. What I'm saying is they came all the way back. The momentum is clearly on their side. I'll go Panthers with some goodwill luck towards Florida down there, but I think it's going to be a fun game. I'm excited to watch tonight.
Alrighty, well, there's an interesting scene over the weekend in Cromwell, Connecticut. 6 climate protesters stormed the 18th green while the tournament leaders were lining up their putts, Matt. The protesters were they were wearing T-shirts with, quote, "No golf on a dead planet" in black lettering on the front. They waved smoke bombs that left white and red residue on the putting surfaces before Scheffler, Kim, and Bhatia finished their round.
So it was a great tournament. And I know that golf, a lot of people don't like 20 under scores. That is the shortest course on the PGA Tour. You had Cam Young shooting a 59. It's short. It's a par 70. I like watching those guys tear it on up. Now, that being said, okay.
Say what you need.
Okay. Number one, part of why our country is the right to peacefully protest things. And we do not live in a dictatorship. We don't live where you have to do these things. I understand that there are people that want to peacefully. That was not a peaceful protest. They will get popped on vandalism charges, probably trespassing charges. I don't know about assault, whatever. That's number one. Number two, should they not be protesting the LIV Tour that is owned by a group of people that have made their money off of oil? What's the point of doing the PGA Tour? The reason is that nobody watches the LIV Tour and they got more because they're at the PGA Tour event. That's it. And then the final thing, did anybody really wake up this morning and say, I think I'm going to join the Stop Oil movement? I think you know what? They really got me on that. Now, I sit here and I say this. When I tell you from a political standpoint, there's a lot of things that I am conservative on. There's a lot of things I'm liberal on. Like when I tell you I'm a true independent, I am. Like there's things that I lean conservative. There's things that, but one of the things that I guess would lean liberal and agree, we need to take care of our planet. There is a lot of things that are alarming. I'm not ever going to pretend that I'm some, whoa!
Cleveland Cavaliers
Let's
are
go.
hiring Golden State assistant Kenny Atkinson as the franchise's next head coach.
Dan gets
Sides
his
are
guy.
working on a
Wow.
contract that's expected to be completed soon. That comes from Woj.
There it is. Kenny Atkinson. We'll get back to the Stop Oil thing later. We'll get to that. Kenny Atkinson, franchise's next head coach. There it is. Send the tweet out. Do you like the hire right now? At Matt Fontana Show. Drop it here. Kenny Atkinson, the next head coach of your Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's dive into a little with Kenny Atkinson. He is 57 years old, a one-time head coach when he was the head guy for the Brooklyn Nets. In his 3.5 seasons, he went 118 and 190. That is only a 38% winning percentage. Missed the playoffs in his first 2 years, then a gentleman's sweep in his third year in the first round, and then resigned during the 1920 campaign. He stepped down as the head coach of the Nets on March 7th, 2020. He then became the assistant for the LA Clippers for a year, and he's been with Steve Kerr the last 4 seasons out there in Golden State. Now, here's the other thing. When the Warriors won their championship, let's not forget, the Charlotte Hornets offered Atkinson their head coaching job, but he declined to take it. He turned it down after informally agreeing to take the job. And he stayed on Steve Kerr's staff, and actually took over. Steve Kerr stepped away for a game, and Atkinson stepped in. Like, he's an assistant. He was not the associate head coach, but you get over there with Kenny Atkinson. Both of these guys, Borrego, which I got to tell you, man, I'm a little shocked it wasn't Borrego. I really thought there were some offensive things that James Borrego was able to bring this. Now, that being said, what I was going to get to is Kenny Atkinson is an offensive-minded guy as well. They go with Atkinson, I got to tell you, off the Athletic report this morning that the team was leading Borrego until Dan Gilbert got involved. It's that Dan Gilbert got his guy. What is that impact on Donovan Mitchell? I don't think much. Like, Borrego at least had some carryover with a couple other guys. You know, he, again, was with the Nets when Jared Allen was there, when Karis LeVert was there. So I don't know if, again, those guys, I don't necessarily moving the needle. But, you know, Atkinson, if Jared Allen and Donovan Mitchell have some sort of relationship here, can Jared Allen kind of sell this to Donovan Mitchell? How interested is Donovan Mitchell in Kenny Atkinson? Would you say Atkinson is the safer pick over Borrego? The reason I kind of lean that way is just because, like, the experience, but also, like, the fact that he's been around a lot of good head coaches, right? Again, talking about Atkinson, here's where it starts. He was joining the Knicks staff and as an assistant under Mike D'Antoni. He was then on Mike Budenholzer's staff down there in Atlanta before he took the Brooklyn job. He was under Ty Lue and then under Steve Kerr. I think that's one interesting thing. One thing for me on Kenny Atkinson, the head coaches who he has been an assistant under. Sorry, I'm tweeting live here on the show. Mike D'Antoni, Mike Budenholzer, Ty Lue, and Steve Kerr. That's a pretty solid list.
Correct me if I'm wrong, those are all championship-winning head coaches.
They have all won a championship.
Has D'Antoni?
I think so. I always, and I'll tell you this too, I always liked Mike D'Antoni. I know he kind of pisses some people off, like, on how he does things. You know what? I don't know if he won a championship. No, he never won a championship. No, never did. Never did. He's got Olympic golds, you know, as a coach, but as an assistant. But yeah, he never won a championship. So again, everybody else on that list, I think, is pretty big. The head coach has been interested in Mike D'Antoni, Mike Budenholzer, Ty Lue, Steve Kerr. Pretty solid list. I think that is a pretty damn solid list of that. And again, the second crack at it, so to speak, of being a head coach, like, I'm trying to go back to some of those Brooklyn teams, right? When he was there. And I'm going to just do this. Like the 2018 Brooklyn Nets, the year he took them to the playoffs. Let me do the next season, okay? Okay, here it is. Jacques Vaughn. Well, that's when Atkinson stepped down. Sorry. Okay, let's go back to the season prior. They went 42-40, 7th in the NBA Eastern Conference, and made it out. Here were their leading scorers on this team. D'Angelo Russell, Joe Harris. Remember when he had that career resurgence there? Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, DeMar Carroll, Jarrett Allen, Shabazz Napier, Rondé Hollis-Jefferson, Alan Krabby was on that team. So it's like, I bring that up again. When he took a team to the playoffs, he took them with D'Angelo Russell, Spencer Dinwiddie, Joe Harris, Karis LeVert, Jarrett Allen, and a host of some other guys. The Cavs roster is better than that. Now, again, they were just the 7 seed and got gentlemen swept on out. But you also, like, you know, I don't want to say, like, had offensive juggernauts with it. Like, I just believe the second go-around here for him should be better with the Cavs. Let's talk about the other factor in this whole thing. He very clearly now has a lot of support from Dan Gilbert. This move was Dan Gilbert, was it not? Am I wrong for reading into that? The article comes out this morning that the team is leading Borrego. They have a meeting with Dan Gilbert. He likes Kenny Atkinson. An hour later, Kenny Atkinson is their head coach. You got the Woj tweet?
Yes.
Yeah,
this
go.
is from Woj. The Cavaliers are especially eager for Atkinson's player development program to impact young 7-footer Evan Mobley, sources said. Atkinson has a strong history with Jarrett Allen and Karis LeVert from their time together with the Nets.
Keep those guys here. If Donovan Mitchell wants Jarrett Allen here, and you know my affinity there for Karis LeVert, keep him here. I'm fine with that. Woj, New Orleans Associated Coach James Borrego was deep into the Cavs search, and sources say he'll now become the prominent candidate for the Detroit Pistons job. That kind of makes sense, right? I'm not saying that if we hired Borrego that Atkinson would go take that job in Detroit, but very clearly Borrego is going to be the favorite there. Yeah, listen, good hire. I'd have said the same thing for James Borrego. Good hire. Great. Because there's nothing that I can do right now to try to tell you that this was a great hire. We got to see how it plays out. The factors that I like: offense, a focus on Mobley, somebody that can be sold to Donovan Mitchell, player recognition with 2 guys that are on this roster that I frankly hope stay in LeVert and Allen, and you got the support of the owner. Those are all good things. Bad things? He's not Greg Popovich. I don't know. He's not Steve Kerr. Like, we got to figure this out. There was never going to be a hire that I didn't, well, maybe JJ Redick, but there was never going to be a hire between Borrego and Atkinson. I was going to sit here and tell you this was stupid. They're both fine candidates. And I just, at this point, I'm happy the Cavs made their decision. You get ready for the draft now on Wednesday. This is something to be said when it goes to Donovan Mitchell, who, again, they feel confident he's going to sign his extension. You got Kenny Atkinson. He's in place. Great. I like the hire. Nothing I don't like about it right now. Yeah, everybody's kind of talking about, literally that report came out this morning about Atkinson. Let me see what the article here on ESPN says, if anything else from Woj. Cavaliers are hiring Golden State assistant Kenny Atkinson as the franchise's next coach, source telling ESPN today. Sides have started to work on a contract, and a deal is expected to be reached soon. They were down to Borrego and Atkinson. Atkinson, the top assistant with the Warriors, takes over a Cavs roster that advanced to the Eastern Conference semifinals, won 99 regular season games over the past 2 years. They also have an organization with 2 key players who blossomed under Atkinson as the Nets coach, and Jarrett Allen and Karis LeVert. Cleveland's offseason priority now turns fully to securing Donovan Mitchell on a long-term extension. Atkinson was 118-90, said that earlier, in the 3+ years with the Nets, inheriting a full rebuild and showing improvement each season until he resigned after an injury-plagued 19-20 season. Spent a year with the Clippers. 2 years ago, Atkinson briefly accepted that Hornets job that we talked about before changing his mind and remaining with the Warriors. So I think even on that, that's a sign of positivity. You would not have Kenny Atkinson here if he took that Hornets job, right? Because he most likely would have been fired in that job after a couple of years, and I don't think he'd have just picked up the Cavs job right here. That tells me that Atkinson was waiting for this opportunity. When you're talking about opportunities for a head coach, and this is for basketball and football, you take over a team that is in a full rebuild, maybe a couple of young pieces, and you got to go through hell. That's number one. I'm going to go to the other extreme. You have an extremely super uber talented team, and your coach wasn't getting it done. Players revolted. They get fired. You inherit the Steve Kerr taking over the Warriors type thing. What you have is the middle of the road. Here's a good team that hasn't gotten to where we need to go. We are going to add a couple more pieces here. And we need you to come in with your experience and lead this team to an Eastern Conference Finals, dare I say the NBA Finals. That's why they lean towards probably Kenny Atkinson. Again, he and Borrego both have been head coaches before. I would say Atkinson having all that other assistant coaching stuff. And again, being around a lot of championship level teams. Again, I'm not knocking James Borrego. If I'm trying to find a reason why they leaned Kenny Atkinson, both are offensive-minded guys, I have to believe that a lot of the places that he has been, the coaches that he has been, right, that'd sell me. That'd be enough for me to lean towards Kenny Atkinson. And that's probably maybe where the Cavs went with this.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the NFL, you see these NFL coaching trees, the McVays, they all come from, and they all get head coaching jobs. You know, it's kind of looks like the same thing in this case, but I don't know if there was a specific tree, but I mean, when you're that many places and you're learning under that many prolific, successful head coaches, you pick up a thing or two at the very least, and now he's looking to make it on his own. And I'm excited. I'm intrigued by the hire at the very least.
Yeah, and that's where I do believe, like the coaching trees in the NBA. You're right. It's not like there's a ton of Greg Popovich assistants. Like I think the Warriors maybe with Steve Kerr. There's some guys that can kind of pick off there, but it's not as prominent, in the NBA. But again, I just probably come back to, I think that's a pretty damn solid list of who he's been assistants under. D'Antoni, Budenholzer, Ty Lue, and Steve Kerr. And a guy that's already had a crack at it. And I was happy.
So you like that?
I like that a lot.
Okay.
I like I would say this. The thing that I like the most, and I would say the same thing about Borrego, I didn't need JJ Redick coming in here and figuring the fuck out. I didn't need that. I didn't need him coming in here, even as a player, figuring out how to be a coach and how to watch film differently, or how he wants to run his meetings, or when the practice schedule is. I would rather have, and Borrego sufficed this as much as Atkinson, a guy who is a career coach that has done it before. That was it. So that's why either one of these guys, good job. We'll find out come October. I'll find out in February where we're at. And it all comes back to the biggest thing of Donovan Mitchell, right? If he's coming back, which sounds like he is, that means more to the Cavs and you and me than anything that the Cavs will do this offseason. So they pared it down to two guys that I would have taken either one. You made your hire. You get Donovan Mitchell back. You now can proceed forward with one of the trades that you're going to have to make. And you get to make your pick on Wednesday in the first round of the draft. Good. Here we are. And anybody that would want to come out and try to find a reason to not like this, I would imagine Dan Gilbert's involvement is your reason. Right? They were moving forward with James Borrego off the Athletic article that came out. That thing didn't live for an hour. And it's already, I don't want to say, past news cycle, but that thing came out this morning from The Athletic that the Cavs were zeroing in on James Borrego. Dan Gilbert walks in and he goes, I like Kenny Atkinson. Kenny Atkinson's your next head coach. If you really needed to find a way to be negative on this hire, Dan Gilbert's involvement would probably be your answer. Would it not be? So, I mean, this is another interesting question if you want to put this out, Ron. Do you like Dan Gilbert's involvement with this hire? Like, does that bother you? And I guess my comeback would be, we can say that for a 2 for Tuesday tomorrow, though, if you want. Want to do that tomorrow?
Yeah,
let's do that tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow.
Let it marinate.
What's your favorite kind of marinade? Good lemon pepper on a good chicken.
Yeah,
that's the answer.
That's very good.
I used to marinate steak for my wife. My wife does not really care for red meat. So, like, when we were trying steaks, I would marinate them. I know a lot of people out there yelling at me, you're not supposed to marinate steak. Just let it cook. I get it. But I tried. I got a good steak marinade there for you if you ever need one. You know what the key is? You got to put a little lemon in there. And put a little lemon juice in there. You got to break down. You got to have something a little acidic in there to try to break down the meat, a little tender. But anyway, let it marinate for tomorrow. Little lemon pepper marinade for you tomorrow on the Kenny Atkinson. If you don't really like that Dan Gilbert was involved, here's what I would say. Number one, he's the owner. He's going to do what he wants. And number two, he has brought us a championship before. He kind of knows what he's talking about. People want to sell Dan short on that because there is a stink about ownership involvement. And that's sports wide. You never actually hear about a good owner meddling, right? You always hear like they're schemers, right? Gordon's got plans. Kop's got plans. They're schemers. That's what they do. You think that, and you instantly inherently go, well, that's bad. You don't want your ownership to sit up in, some suite and cut checks and sign this and do that. That's not bad. When it's a guy like Dan Gilbert who knows what the hell he's doing, I'm thankful his health is back, and he wants to step in and he goes, you know what? I like this hire, and that's what the Cavs want to do. What's so bad about that? What is so bad about that? I really don't understand it. So if he leaned that way and that's what they wanted to do, and when it was obvious, too, that there was no clear-cut favorite. It's not like they were staring down the barrel of a future Hall of Famer, and they said, that really ain't going to work. That really ain't going to work. They're going with it. They're going to go all in here on Kenny Atkinson. And then also, you need somebody that I think, again, leading back towards the experience that Kenny Atkinson has now. Bro, you got to go now. Like, he is going to understand the pressure. And whenever they introduce him in his press conference, mark my words, there will be some sort of statement or some lines about we're going now, right? You have a built roster. You'd like a little more cap space, a little more freedom with moving your picks and whatnot. But he comes in knowing you are at minimum required to have a first-round home series, top 4 seed, and you are expected to make the Eastern Conference Finals. That is what Kenny Atkinson is now signing up for. And again, you take the job because you can, because there's only 30 of these. But I appreciate that he is coming now from a group that he knows that that's what's on. Their ass in the fire now, our ass in the jackpot now. But I would say my favorite thing is his experience, the coaches he's been around, the fact that he's an offensive guy, again, apparently with a focus going to be going on Evan Mobley, and he knows the pressure he's going to be dealing with. If I had to come up with a negative, people might say that it's the Dan Gilbert thing, but I really don't have too much negative. I probably wouldn't have had negative on James Borrego. They made their hire. At the end of the day, you made a decision, right? And that's all I can do is ask them to make their decision. They did. I got to add this to time, Brian.
Yes, you do.
At this day, 2024.
The majority so far is
what are we at?
A fan.
Fan of it?
72.6% are fans.
Should we start working on T-shirts? What comes to mind with Kenny
Atkinson?
Kenny from South Park? I don't know.
Reminds me of the diet. Isn't there an Atkinson diet?
There's Atkins, yeah. There's Atkins. We'll get some T-shirts cooked up. By the way, shout out to Jay, I think it was Jay Bobcat on Twitter. He won our T-shirts last week for the Immaculate Grid.
Oh, I wasn't there. That's right.
I know, yeah. We lost it early in the week. So here's where we're at. We had a lot of accidents. Do you want to rip through the grid? I have a busy time hop. You want to save it for tomorrow, maybe? I don't know. We have to do the grid today, though.
No, I'm getting texts just from my buddies. Should have just kept JB. This is nasty work.
Should have just kept JB
as the coach. He said this is nasty work.
No. You got an offensive upgrade. That's what you got. With the Cavs, and again, I would say that about either one of them. But you got an offensive upgrade on the Cavs right now. That's what you needed. So we'll ask for it. Speaking of offense, some offensive players.
Yeah, you want to rip through?
Yeah, we've got to rip through. We have to. Again, the sanctity of the grid. Because here's the thing. We're not going to be here next week. With the holiday, we're going to be off Thursday, Friday. By the way, we're going to be off Thursday, Friday. Did you know that?
You're on holiday next week?
It's 4th of July next week, man.
Oh wow.
4th of July. We have a parade. Our kids' school is in a parade.
I party last week.
Yeah, there you go. So we'll be off next week, so we can't do the full grid. So what we're going to try to do
that's awesome.
is do 5 Why? You just figured it out?
I just love hearing that's a holiday. I completely forgot.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, we're off next week. So, part of the week, not the whole week. But we got to do the grid now to try to get a winner before that because, again, we can't do the grid next week. So, here's how it goes. We have got to do the full grid. All 9. They had to have played for each team. They had to have gone to Alabama. We start the week off strong. Go!
All right.
Just want to rip through the Browns.
We got quite a few. We could do Jed. We could do Jerry. We could do. Oh, he didn't. We could do Amari. Not Jerry yet, but.
Mac Wilson, too. Just want to do Amari.
Mr. Wills.
Yep. You knew Jed. Okay. Jed. Browns, Dolphins. Jarvis Landry.
I'm so bad at typing.
That's okay. He's right. Yeah, he's our first. I don't think there's too many Jarvises. And then Colt McCoy. All right, Alabama for the Ravens. Huh.
Oh, we can't do Derrick Henry yet. Mark Ingram.
And then
They just drafted,
Devontae Smith.
Yeah. Who they just drafted? Didn't he go to Jalen Carter? No, he went to Georgia.
He went to Georgia.
Wait, who are we doing?
Devontae Smith. There it is. All right. Okay, let's open things up here a little bit. Dolphins, Ravens. Oh, not yet for Odell Beckham. Not yet.
Or Calais
Campbell. Oh, no. Oh, wait, no, yeah, he just got there. You're right.
Zeitler? He played for the Dolphins?
No, he never played for the Dolphins. Never went to the Dolphins. That's an interesting one. All right, step that aside. Eagles, Dolphins. Shady McCoy never played in Miami. Deshaun Jackson never went to Miami. Ted Ginn never played in Philly. Oh, man. Josh McCown in Miami. Fitzpatrick in Philly. Huh. Dude. This is a tough start to the week. All right, let's get that aside. Cardinals, Ravens. Anquan Bolden.
How did I spell that wrong?
Anquan?
I spelled Bolden wrong.
Oh. I. There it is. I. Eagles, Cardinals. Eagles, Cardinals.
Did Nick Foles ever play for
That's what I was just wondering. I don't think so. Wide receivers. I keep going back to Robbie Anderson. Like, I know he worked in Miami. I know he worked for Arizona, but I don't think he ever played for Philly.
I don't think so.
Darren Sproles. Did he ever play in Arizona? I don't think so. Quarterbacks. We already used Colt. Oh, we could have. Could we? No, we couldn't have used Colt McCoy. He never played in Philly, I don't think, right? I don't think so. He's off the list anyway, so don't worry about it. Cardinals, Eagles. Legacy players. Anything, with T.O.? Arizona? I don't think so. Dude. All right.
Check the chat.
No, remember we can't.
Oh, that's right. It's a new
Put
week.
the parameters
It's a
on.
new
New week.
week.
So this is the sanctity. We got time to work. It's okay.
Patrick Peterson never played for the Eagles, I don't think.
Oh, wait. No. Right? No, I don't think so. Tyrann Mathieu? Did he play in Philly?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
What team did Andy Isabella go to?
Don't know.
Oh my God.
What? I always love when you do that.
Zach Ertz.
Oh, yeah, good call. Zach Ertz, good call. Okay. All right, Miami. Brock Osweiler, Chad Pennington,
Ryan Leaf. I think I got Dolphins Eagles.
What?
I think. Jay Ajayi?
Yeah.
Didn't he play for the Eagles? I know he played for the Dolphins.
I know, yeah. And I feel, yes, Jay Ajayi works. Jay Ajayi works. Yes, Jay Ajayi works. Yes. Yes. Nice. Okay. All right. Okay. Ravens, Miami. Okay. Quarterbacks. RG3. Tyler Huntley, Kyle Bowler, Joe Flacco. Josh Johnson, I know, played for the Ravens. If we really got down to it, we got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. If we need one, I actually wouldn't hate pulling the Josh Johnson card here. Because again, I know Baltimore, yes, and I would have to think Miami. Ted Bridgewater, Miami, but I don't think Baltimore. Defensive players, Jalen Ramsey, no. Matthew Judon, no. Kyle Van Noy? Not enough to pull the trigger, probably not. Jadeveon Clowney, no. What?
No, Jadeveon Clowney wasn't on the Dolphins, was he?
No, I don't think he ever played for the Dolphins.
Did he? No.
I think it was Houston, Seattle, us, Baltimore.
Seattle.
Tennessee, didn't he go to whatever. I think he's there now, but I don't think Clowney works there. Jimmy Smith, no. Quadre Ishmael, don't think so. Dennis Pitta, no. That's a pull, isn't it? That's a pull there for you. I don't know, man. Might just have to rip Josh Johnson. He saved our ass a lot of times, man. Right? Fitzpatrick never played in Baltimore, right? No? All right. Might just have to do Josh Johnson.
He saves us twice. That's crazy.
Well, not save, but he's kicking the week off. I can't think anything else, man.
Most popular one, Ricky Williams.
Scroll back up and click on the full list. 44. I mean, that's not a lot.
JPP, I don't know. Mike Wallace.
Justin Houston.
Ricky Williams.
What are the quarterbacks? None, right?
Scott Mitchell.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was not easy, but
by any stretch of the imagination.
Damn.
Like, I don't recognize any of these. Quadre Ishmael. He's on here. Raheem Mostert. See, I didn't know he played for the Ravens.
Damn it, man. Well, God, I hate that. Man. I don't know. Well, I'll turn myself back around with Kenny Atkinson hire. So again, coming out this morning, Cavs have made their hire. It is Kenny Atkinson. Trying to see if anything else really has come out. I mean, again, like there's not too much about, you know, what are you going to believe? Like, okay, he's here. I've seen something. Shout out to Spencer Davies. He retweeted a video of Kenny Atkinson talking about the growth of Jared Allen back when he was the coach of the Nets. Like, I think it's a fine hire. There's not much else that you can try to get away from this when you think about Bringing in Kenny Atkinson. I'm trying to think. Yeah. I mean, good for him. He's brought in 24th coach in NBA history, and you just got to succeed. I mean, I think the ultimate question that you're going to ask is, what is now your does Kenny Atkinson ramp up expectations for you when it comes to what you wanted from the Cavs this season? Does it change your expectations at all? It doesn't for me. It's the same thing. I need to the Cavs bar this season of what I think a successful season should be is getting to the Eastern Conference Finals, okay? Year one, you made it to under JB. As far as the rebuild goes, you made it to the first round, then you made it to the second round. You need to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals this year. And I know there's so much that we'll look at about what the 76ers are going to do, or Boston's bringing everybody back, and the Bucks will be better, and the Magic, and there's a lot to happen in the East. Your bar is still set of making the Eastern Conference Finals. Nothing changes about Kenny Atkinson being the head coach for that. I expect that to be on the board. When he walks in, that's it. That's what you need to do. Now, ownership being on board and ownership maybe calling this shot here buys him a little bit more time. If I really want to be the uber positive Cavs fan, good. Then that means the pressure's a little bit off of Kenny Atkinson. It's not like he knows, hey, man, I miss it this year, I'm getting fired. He was Dan Gilbert's pick. Right? From the reporting that I got this morning, this was Dan Gilbert's hire. People get so angry about that. That's a good thing. That's good. The guy ultimately calling the shots picked your head coach. Why is that a bad thing? It's not. So that gives Kenny Atkinson a little bit of breathing room, but it doesn't change the fact that we need to go to the Eastern Conference Finals this year. You have a roster that is good enough to do that. Yes, the path is unwritten yet of who you got to go through or how this season is going to play out. Doesn't change anything. So if you got ownership on your side, you have a very clear goal in mind of making these conference finals, and you got a guy that's been a head coach before. I don't see any negative today. They made their decision. They'll get to the draft on Wednesday night. What Atkinson has on input of that or not, I don't know. And that's it. Spencer's just so he's got a lot of videos about Kenny Atkinson. And here's one from Greg Popovich 4 years ago. And he said he did a good job talking about Kenny Atkinson with the Nets. He did a good job of taking them to the next step, and hopefully someone else will realize that he's a very talented young man. Greg Popovich talking about Kenny Atkinson when he parted ways with the Nets. So, again, I think this is a hire across the league that was expected. You knew he was going to be one of those two guys. I don't think anybody's going to have any negative. There's a lot of negativity with JJ Redick, right? Because that's somebody that hadn't done this before, and it's the Lakers. I doubt highly you're going to find anybody that rips this hire. So if I start with that, Ryan, you're off to a good start. That's fine. There's nothing right now that you, me, or anybody's going to be able to piece together to try to tell me that this was a mistake. They did all their research. They came down to two. Your owner weighed in on which of the two that he likes, and that's the guy that got the job. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
If you were at his presser, what are some questions you would want?
What do you see out of Evan Mobley? What do you see? What is the next step? That is probably, that's a great question, right? About, again, this offseason, and there's been some discussion about a misstep that the Cavs have made when they didn't tell their guys what they needed them to do when they came back. When they went to the offseason, they didn't maybe have detailed plans of what I need to see out of Evan Mobley or what I need to see out of Darius Garland, and that maybe contributed to some of the mistakes. And then you also look at it where the Cavs' identity, while they had major injuries, they didn't have one on offense. You didn't know exactly who the focal point was. It should have been Donovan Mitchell. Okay, he gets hurt. Garland's out, figure out. So number one for Kenny Atkinson, what is the next step for Evan Mobley? What do you envision being that, progress for Evan Mobley? Number one. Number two, and again, a very important question. Kenny, can you win with two bigs and two guards the way you have it constructed? Now, that's a trap question, right? That's a trap question to try to get him to tip who they're going to trade away. But if I'm asking him a question in a vacuum with my blinders on, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, and Donovan Mitchell are all still on this team. What do you do with them? Knowing that's not probably what it's going to be. Again, the smoke of Kobe, we're not going to trade anybody. I'm not buying it. So eventually they'll make that move. But I would ask Kenny Atkinson that question. Can you survive? Can you make this work with two guards like Mitchell and Garland and two forwards like Jared Allen and Evan Mobley? I'm also not buying anything about, okay, Jared Allen, Karis LeVert played under him. I don't think that factored in very much. I don't. So with that aside, you at least know Jared Allen. You saw his development. Karis LeVert is here. I think that's just a coincidence. I'm not saying it hurt, but I don't think there's any factor of that playing into this hire. So outside of that, maybe if you really want to get into the X's and O's about like what kind of offense do you want to run here? What do you see out of your wings? And then you could ask about Strus and Yang and what do you like about Karis LeVert now at this point of his career and all that kind of stuff. My two biggest things, your development of Evan Mobley and how do you play offense with this team with the four guys that are still on this roster to this day and knowing that one of them will probably be traded. What do you do? What do you do? And I'm sure, again, you sit down and you think about what change is going to be made. Kenny Atkinson has a seat at this table now. Donovan Mitchell's always had a seat at this table. You know that. I know that. Everybody knows that. But now, Kenny Atkinson will get a seat at this table to sit down and say, trade this guy, trade that guy. Don't trade him, keep him. We need this guy, we need that. So it's another smart mind down to try to make the right trades for Kobe Altman. And at the end of the day, they could come to a consensus. They could sit down and say, yeah, we have to trade Darius Garland. That just gets you to the starting line. I was watching a lot of the Olympic trials this weekend and track got it. Watching fast people run, because I'm not fast, it's awesome. But that just gets you to the starting block of your decision, okay, we are going to trade Darius Garland. Then Kobe's got to start burning the phones and finding the trade. It's not that simple, just saying we're going to do this now. That just gets you there. And again, did Atkinson, we'll never know, and I don't think it really matters. But what factor that meant of the hire, did he give him the right answers to the question of Garland Allen? You know what I mean? Like, can I give you I would say conspiracy thing. Let me give you an alternate universe, right? Donovan Mitchell comes out. Oh, we got to remember, too, in support of Jared Allen because of what J.B. Bickerstaff said. But Donovan Mitchell has come out in vocal support of Jared Allen and reportedly has said, I want him here. What if Kenny Atkinson sat down in one of his interviews and said, yeah, I want Jared Allen here too. And I would maybe think about trading Darius Garland. As opposed to coming in and saying, no, we got to trade away Jared Allen. No, we got to trade away Jared Allen. That goes against maybe what, you know what I mean? Like they're syncing up. They're cinching up here to be on the same page on how they're going to approach a very important offseason and how they're going to navigate making the moves that they need to. So they maybe got a guy on board that's already of the same thought process and mindset that the Cavs are on. Good. That's probably why Kenny Atkinson's going to get introduced as the 24th head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers in a couple of days. That's probably why that happened. There's nothing wrong with that. I like continuity. It's nice and easy. As much fun as the drama might be, it's a pain in the ass. And nobody wants to do that. I will take continuity. I will take everybody on the same page doing the same thing. And if Kenny Atkinson could just seamlessly get into that and we're off to the races with things, good. That's maybe part of the reason that he's here. So we'll see. I would have to imagine he'll get introduced after the draft at some point. So that'll be a lot of fun to see how that goes. And maybe Illinois Spencer. Try to get him on maybe tomorrow to react to all that. Get ready for the draft, so we'll text him as well. I know he's doing some things on Twitter already. Follow him at Spin Davies. All right, final thing for us. We'll have to push the bracket back to tomorrow. We just got pushed back to there. Final thing for us tonight, a little Guardians action for Kenny Atkinson. Let's hit a boost, baby.
Yeah, when's he throwing out the first pitch?
I don't know. We'll get him in that. Guards tonight, Orioles. Runs, home run for Naylor. And over strikeouts for Tannenbaum. Boosted up there, Ryan, to a healthy plus 1,700, correct?
17-14.
Let's go. Tipico, code Fontana 150 for new customers. Get signed up, deposit $150. You'll get two $75 protected bets. Two $75 protected bets for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER with our friends at Tipico. Get signed up, get some hockey action tonight. Let's win a boost for Kenny Atkinson. Let's win a boost for Kenny Atkinson tonight. Folks, we'll have all the coverage you need tonight. Big Play Cleveland show. They'll have all the baseball going on. They'll react to the Kenny Atkinson hiring. Of course, come get some. Blake and Greg Williams. And we have a little bit of Hanford tonight as well. So that'll be all in Big Play. Follow us on Twitter at Big Play. Check out our website for all of our merch. I'm waiting for my Kenny Atkinson shirt. I'm sure Cody will get on that quick.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yeah, he will.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to come up with ideas. Kenny Atkinson.
Oh.
I am the son, something. I don't know. Cavs. I don't know. That's going to be on Cody. He does all of our stuff. So I'm sure we'll get a merch on that. So check it out, bigplay.com for all of that. Be back for 2 for Tuesday tomorrow. I'm going to effort Spencer to come on, give his thoughts on everything that happened with the Cavs. They got their head coach. It is Kenny Atkinson. So welcome to town, and we'll appreciate it. Get it done tonight. Guards! And enjoy a little bit of Stanley Cup Finals tonight as well. For Ryan Tyler, I am Matt Fontana, and as always, take it easy.